Hello everyone, Fertility Journals here. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new, welcome to the family. I decided to start this YouTube channel as a way to give back, and I underwent 12 IVF cycles. And when I was undergoing my own journey, guys, I really relied in this space to be able to get the encouragement, motivation, and inspiration through other people's experiences with IVF. And so when I ended up being successful, we are blessed with a bouncy, beautiful baby boy. I made a vow to get back into this space as best as I can, to be able to share a tip, a resource, a piece of inspiration. So the hope is that if you're new, you'll walk away with something new that you've learned, and hopefully you'll stick around by subscribing. You'll notice that my YouTube channel is a little bit interesting because I do have a lot of journals. I do have a playlist of all 12 of the IVF cycles, each and every one, in the information bar and also in my playlist. So if you are really just trying to navigate those and just kind of figure out how things went, please feel free to take a look at those. But then every once in a while, I do get a question like the one I'm going to answer today, where I get dulled up and I hop on here and I provide the answer that I was able to send to the person who reached out to me, in the hopes that it will also be an inspiration to you. As you know, those of us going through infertility, it's sometimes a very private journey. And so we really are relying on this space and community to be able to support each other. Today, I'm going to answer the question that you may be thinking, and that's why you clicked on this video. What if IVF is really not an option for you? If you are interested in this information, stay tuned. In my experience, as you guys may have looked at my playlist, looked at my intro video, we underwent age-related infertility, and IVF was not an option for us. We were really told, quite frankly, in the beginning that that treatment would not work for us unless we used donor egg. And so my husband and I decided to take some time and conduct some research so that we can be able to really understand and grasp the magnitude of the information we were being given. And I thank God every day that we did that instead of being in a state of fear and panic, because it really, really did help. One of the things we discovered when IVF with my own eggs was not an option, meaning if I did IVF, it was not going to work, so IVF was not really going to be an option, was that it was the conventional IVF. Many people don't know that there are different types of IVF. Most doctors across the country perform the conventional type of IVF. This conventional type of IVF requires lots and tons of medication, and it is sometimes in a lot of these clinics, it's a one type of IVF meets all, which unfortunately may not work for some of us, as it was the case for us. Conventional IVF did not work out for me. In fact, we spent $5,000 in drugs and ended up with one follicle that matured, and it was reverted to an IUI that also failed. So if you are watching this and you have been given information that IVF does not work, then please consider the other types of IVF. Now, the other types of IVF, one of them is called minimal stimulation IVF. A lot of people think that minimal stimulation IVF is just reducing medication. Well, that's true, but there's a reason behind that. For example, why would you need tons of medication when you don't have a lot of eggs? It's just going to fry them up. I mean, we all know basic biology. You put too much fertilizer for the plant, too much of a good thing, it's not going to work. And so it's not just about taking minimal drugs. It's also about people's bodies and how they respond differently. And so for us, for example, at the time, I was only developing, quite honestly, 2 to 3 follicles. And so at the back of my mind, I also knew, and thankfully, when I discovered minimal stimulation IVF, it actually made sense to me. And I really do think that was one of the reasons for our success, was undergoing a type of IVF that actually worked better with my body. The other type of IVF that a lot of people don't know about is called natural IVF. Natural IVF is where you don't take any medications at all. And what happens is the doctor retrieves the egg as it matures naturally in your body, and then an IVF procedure in vitro is performed. And that is an option as well, particularly for women with diminished ovarian reserve, like you only have one follicle and that's it. Or for individuals who probably, maybe you just want to have one child, you don't want to store a lot of embryos, and your infertility is like blocked tubes, something really, really basic. Or maybe male infertility, where they have to do IVF in order for you to get pregnant, for example. Natural may be the way to go. Nothing wrong with conventional IVF. In fact, if you have a lot of eggs and you want to build your entire family, it is okay for you to use conventional IVF. One YouTuber that I know who was around my age, her name is Laura Laws. She was 40. She had amazing ovarian reserve. She had, I think, every cycle she had 20 plus eggs. And so the conventional was able to actually assist her, because in each cycle she underwent, she had 20 eggs retrieved. And then she did the PGTA testing because of her age. And in both cycles, she actually had a euploid embryo, only that in the first cycle she did not do an ERA, so it did not stick around. But the second time it was successful, and she has her bouncy baby girl. So I hope that information is helpful in terms of your research. So look into the different types of IVF. The second tip I have, if IVF is not right for you, is not to fear. Don't be afraid. Sit down and develop your pathway to baby. I can't tell you how empowering it is to stop there. Because remember, for many of us, if you're like me, and I know there's many like me, the fact that we have to go to donated eggs is really a loss. It's a loss and a grieving process, a death of a dream, right? And so I'm so happy my husband suggested this, that we sit down and we realistically plan our IVF journey ahead of time, because it's the first step in allowing you, even though you're resistant, to be able to really make sure that you succeed at the end. Do you want a take-home baby at the end? If you do, then maybe think about the pathways. Just list them for now. And then as you undergo your processes, I think because it's inbuilt in your mind that this is your end goal, you never know what can happen after you've maximized each option. And so it's just something for you to think about. The 5 pathways to baby is something that I created on my channel that made sense for our family. Hopefully it will be of use to you. So on our list, pathway to baby, we had own eggs, then we had donor, then we had embryo donation, and then we had adoption, and then we also had fostering on the list. And so it was kind of like a list of steps that we were going to take to ensure that we were able to bring home a take-home baby. Then we also looked into the fact that because I'd never been pregnant before at the time, if I was not, for any reason, able to carry a pregnancy, then we were going to look into surrogacy. And the surrogacy that we preferred was gestational surrogacy, which is the surrogate would carry an embryo that was my egg and my husband's my husband's little guys, if that makes sense. So that was our pathway to baby. And as we underwent our cycles and our journey, that was ingrained as the process, because for us, it was important to have a take-home baby. Now, not everyone is like that. I do know one of the mentors, the queens of the infertility community, is called Jessica Hepburn. She's from the UK. Jessica Hepburn underwent 12 IVF cycles, miscarriages, and an ectopic pregnancy. And she's now living a child-free life and is very happy. The pain is there, but she has found happiness again. And that's perfectly fine. But it is important for you to develop that pathway to baby. The third tip I have for you, if IVF is not an option and you hear from the doctor that it's not a treatment that they recommend for you, is please, please, please don't waste your time on IUIs. Guys, if there's anything I can share with you, and I hope that this message is for you, do not continue doing those IUI cycles. IUI is not an effective treatment. In fact, I came across one of the doctors that does mini IVF. His name is Dr. Sherman Silber of St. Louis Infertility Center. He does minimal stimulation IVF, mainly the Denmark version of it. And he actually really did state that IUI is a waste of time. In fact, regular intercourse is more effective than IUI. We underwent 6 IUI cycles. All of them failed. I believe actually it was 5 IUI cycles. I apologize. They all failed. Do you want to try IUI? Absolutely. There's no harm in trying. But I would recommend the rule of threes. You try 3 times. If it does not work, then I recommend that you consider the other types of IVF. So hopefully that advice will be helpful. And finally, guys, again, if you have just been told that IVF is not an option and you're being told all these other things that are overwhelming, take a deep breath, relax, don't panic. The number one enemy for you as you undergo infertility is that sense of panic and fear, because then you start going through things blindly and you start getting even more bad news because you're not ahead of the game. You're not researching and preventing things from happening. You're kind of going with the flow with doctor suggestions, treatments, and really just having hope, but having hope without purpose. And really your goal is to have hope with purpose. And the way to do that is every time you talk to a doctor and you get information, guys, I want you to take a deep breath if it's not what you want to hear. And I want you to take it in. And then I want you to go in and research. Go in and research. Find a similar situation on YouTube. Find out somebody who wants to share their journey. Get as much information as possible, and then charter and strategically plan the next step forward. So hopefully that is helpful. I'm sharing that with you because, you know, when I was undergoing my cycles, I will say everybody thought I was crazy. And it did look crazy. I mean, if you're on the outside and you don't know what's going on, it really looked like I kept trying and not giving up, as opposed to the strategy behind it. With every cycle, the decision to move on to the next one was strategically planned and thought about based on research and information. I changed up to 4 doctors. So and I love all my doctors. And I made peace and transitioned with them. And some of them actually helped me as I was working with the other doctors. But I empowered myself with the information and knowledge. So hopefully that will be the case for you. And so folks, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful as you receive the news, or helpful for maybe somebody you know who has confided in you. I hope that you were able to take away a tip or two. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you have any questions about our journey or any questions in general that you feel you need just a tip or suggestion, go ahead and place your question in the information bar below, or you can always send me an email. Thank you so much for watching. Until my next video. Bye.